Hello viewers. Hello viewers. In this video, I'm going to discuss about Karl Marx. So, Karl Marx introduced the Marxism concept. So, what does mean the Marxism, and how the philosophy and how the theory is established by Karl Marx? Okay. So, the Marxism is based on the writings of the Karl Marx and Frederick Engels and has a profound influence on all social science disciplines. Marx is considered, along with the Emil Durkheim and Max Weber, as the three principal architects of modern social sciences. So he taken that three principles architect of modern social sciences. And Karl Marx, a philosopher, economist, historian, political theorist, and sociologist, communist, and revolutionary, unraveled the working of economic and political system within which the modern organization function. So his ideas are the foundation of the modern communism. So the Marxism is nothing but it's a kind of modern communism. Okay, the important point is modern communism. Next, no other thinker has as much influence as Karl Marx on the 20th century mind. His works inspired the foundations of many regimes of the world. No debates on state, society, and administration in the social sciences, therefore, is complete without a discussion on Marx and his impact. Outside his economic theories, Marx's main contribution to the social sciences has been his theory of historical materialism. So his theory is called as historical materialism. Okay. Next, his concept of historical materialism is considered an attempt at unifying all social sciences into a single science of society. So, all social sciences into a single science of society. Single science of society. And human beings cannot survive without organization, social organization. In each mode of the production, a given set of relations of production constitutes the basis like infrastructure on which is erected a complex superstructure encompassing the state and the law, ideology, religion, philosophy, and the art, modality, etc. His philosophy provides deeper insights into the working of modern organization. So basically, what he told about that human materialism theory. Here he considered all the social science is unified into only one single science of society. And second, he thought about only the production is based on the complex social organization, and the administrative organization of which the bureaucracy is a part. Its bureaucracy is only a part, is not just a 20th century phenomena. So it existed elaborate forms even thousands of years ago in Egypt and Rome, and rather the sophisticated forms in China, India, in ancient times. So in contemporary society, the institutions has assumed a special dimension. So here you should know about the bureaucracy is a part of the administrative organization. Here the is a special kind of this dimension is evaluated during the modern times or the contemporary society. Previously, during before 1,000 years ago in Egypt and Rome, they followed this kind of bureaucracy acts as a part of administrative organization. In some writers, in this institution that epitomizes the modern era. So yeah, he was Karl Marx, and his year is from 1818 to 1883. This is about the introduction of the Karl Marx. So in the Karl Marx, we are going to discuss in two aspects. One is one is that theory, okay, theory of human historical materialism. Okay, theory of historical materialism, and what is meant by bureaucracy. So bureaucracy is a part of administrative organization. In this two aspect we are going to discuss about the Karl Marx and his important theory. Okay, so let's begin another important topic, that is origin of bureaucracy. How the bureaucracy is originated in this historical materialism. Okay, the Karl Marx and Friedrich Hegel's theory of the historical materialism, the historical origin of the bureaucracy is found in four sources. Okay, so bureaucracy is found in four sources. One is religion, and second the formation of state, and third commerce and technology. So there are four kind of four sources is being originated the bureaucracy. So one is religion, and second formation of state, and third commerce, and fourth technology. So thus the earliest bureaucracy consists of the caste of religious clergy and officials and scribes operating various rituals and armed functionaries, specifically the dedicated to keep order in the historical transitions from primitive egalitarianism communities to a civil society, divided into the social classes and estates, and beginning from about 10,000 years ago. So this kind of clergy and social classes and estates are found in UK. In the Europe side you can find this kind of clergy, religious clergy, and historical transitions from the egalitarian to the civil society were divided into the multiple social classes like estates, etc. Uh, which is appeared in a Western society. So 10,000 years ago, the authority is increasingly centralized, enforced by a state apparatus existing separately from state society. The state formulates, imposes, and enforces laws and levies taxes, giving rise to on the official dome. So enacting these functions, thus the state mediates in conflicts among the people, so and keeps those conflicts within acceptable bounds. So they are facing more conflicts during this kind of society. So they are going to accept this kind of conflicts within the boundary of the society. It also organizes the defense of the territory, and the right uh, most importantly the right of the ordinary people to carry the use of the weapons and force, and most becomes increasingly restricted. So the the weapons and the arms are not going to take from the people, so they are not allowed to follow this kind of carrying weapons in the society. It's not allowed. And in civil society, the forcing other people to do things becomes increasingly illegal, right? The civil society, if they are taking those kind of weapons, are legal, right, of the society state authorities only. So but the growth of the trade and the commerce adds a new dimension to bureaucracy. Insofar as it requires the keeping the accounts and processing recording of transition, as well as the enforcement of the legal rules. So it's mainly focused on trade and commerce, and it's enforced the legal rights governing the trade. If resources are increasingly distributed by prices in markets, this requires extensive and complex systems of record keeping, management, and calculation, and conforming to legal standards. Evenly, this means that the total amount of work is involved in commercial administration outgrows the total amount of work involved in the government administration. So it is focused on the commercial means of the government control. And in modern capitalist society, the private sector bureaucracy is larger than the government sector bureaucracy. So there are two kind of bureaucracy here we are discussing. One is private sector, another one is the government sector. So the private sector bureaucracy is higher than that of government sector. And if measured by the number of the administrative workers in division of labor as a whole, and some corporations nowadays have a turnover larger than the national income of the whole countries, with large administration supervising operations. So the fourth source of the bureaucracy, the that is the technology, right? So the Marxists have commented on the technologies of mass production, which requires many standardized routines and procedures. And even if people are replaced by the machines, and the people are still necessary, because if modernized society also need more technology, but the machines, etc. Anyhow, the without human we cannot do anything. So the people are still necessary to design, control, and supervise and operate the machinery. So the technologies chosen may not be ones that are best for everybody. So, but which create incomes for a particular class of the people, and to maintain their you know maintain their powers in this type of bureaucracy. So they maintain this power in this bureaucracy. So often it's called as a technocracy. So they are going to maintain their power, human power, in this machine world. So that is technocracy. So how's its power to control over the specialized technical knowledge, or control over the critical information, etc. So first we discussed about the origin of bureaucracy. Second, bureaucracy as an exploitative instrument. So how it is become exploitative instrument. So this paragraph we are discussing this one. The Karl Marx looks upon bureaucracy as an integral part of the exploitative social system. So he formed his theory of bureaucracy on the basis of his personal experiences of the malfunctioning of state administration at the time of the Mosul district famine. So this is very important concept, that is the administration during the Mosul district famine. There is a famine in a European country. There, this kind maladministration is occurred. The famine is not eradicated by the government, so they are not taking it as like a serious matter. So he deduced that the notion of the progress is from the relationship existing between the power holding institutions and the social groups subordinated to them. In an exploitative society like the capitalist one, the bureaucracy gets ingrained in the society and acts as the mechanisms for perpetuations of exploitation. For Marx, its abolition of the state will be achieved instrumentally by the destructions of the bureaucratic apparatus and the bureaucratic dimensions of the political reality, which provides a yardstick for the assessment of the different political structure. So Marx mostly emphasizes the importance of the understanding the bureaucracy both functionally as well as historically. So for him, the bureaucracy is central to this understanding of the modern state. It is generally held that the bureaucracy is subsumed in Marx macro theorizations of the capitalist state. So Marx is mostly focused on the capitalist state, since it is the political expression of the division of labor. It has to be explained not only in the functional but also in the structural terms. So it's only the political expression of the people. So the division of labor is occur in two aspects. One is functional and second one is the structural. He uses allusions to Feichberg's the transformative criticism, and stating that under the bureaucracy the human subject becomes a mere object of manipulation. So they are acting as a manipulated people. So what fetishism of the commodities is to economics, so bureaucracy is to politics. So how the commodities for the economist, similarly the bureaucracy is also acts as a commodity for the politics. Okay. And Max Weber never wrote and the bureaucracy as did Weber. So he is not written more about that bureaucracy, but although he did not overlook that the significance of the bureaucracy in modern society. So incidentally, after taking over chief editor of Marx wrote that articles in the newspapers of the free press and the state censorships and the law of thefts of wood. Here they are stolen that woods from the government land. So he spoke of the repressive character of the bureaucracy censorship of the press, and he regarded censorships as a bureaucratic instrument. Censorship as a bureaucratic instrument for maintaining the politics as a reserved domain of the particular class. And Marx's reflections on the bureaucracy were first found in critic Hegel's philosophy of right, in which Hegel's philosophy of right, in which he viewed the bureaucracy as institutional incarnations of the political alternation. Okay, political alienation. It's not alteration, it's political alienation. And since it institutionalized the inverted nature of the modern state, where everything, according to Marx, looks different from its true character. Bureaucracy can be abolished only when the state becomes the real representative of general interest. As Marx developed his concepts of bureaucracy through this critique of Hegel's philosophy of right. So he taken the concept as for bureaucracy only from the critique of the Hegel's philosophy of right. That book inspired him about the concept of bureaucracy, and it seems useful for briefly recall the Hegel's views on the bureaucracy as a backdrop for study of Karl Marx's approach to bureaucracy, and to gather the thread of the Marx thought on bureaucracy. So he told about that exploitative instrument for the bureaucracy is exploitative instrument for the uh, politician. So the political alienation is occurred in the form of censorship. Okay. Next, the Hegel's universalistic emphasizes. So Hegel he written this. Hegel like Marx does not deal with the progress as such, and their interest in the progress grow out of their large interest in the nature of the state. And the state for Hegel is the last development in the series of the rational social orders, and other two being the family and the civil society. So once so it is mainly focused on the social order of the family as well as the civil society. So once the state is produced its supposed to provide the grounds where where the unconscious and particularly oriented activities become gradually self-consciousness. So it started from the unconsciousness state to self-consciousness and the public spirit. And for Hegel, the prince, the bureaucrats, and the deputies to the state are political actor par excellence. Okay, political actor par excellence. So Hegel finds in the society the existence of three classes. There are three classes in the society. Uh, Agricultural class, and second business class, and third one is a universal class, each of the which reflects the three modes of the consciousness and conservatisms as well as individualisms and universalisms respectively. So there are three classes. One is agriculture class, and second business class, and third universal class. So he distinguishes between the civil society and the state on the ground that the former represents the general interest. The former represents general interest, and the later interest the public are the particular interest. So there are two kind of interest. One is the general interest, and second one is the particular interest. The bureaucracy plays the role of link between the civil society and the estate. So it is what Avineri and while explain the Hegel's views has called the paradigm of meditation. So meditation between the particular and the general, between the civil society and the state. The Hegel says that the universal class has for its task the universal interest of the community, and the bureaucracy is the universal state, which seems the maintenance of the general state interest and the legality. It is to be mentioned that the bureaucracy represents the universal interest not because of the negative universality of their wants, and but because of the positive universality. It's not about the negative universality, it's about the positive universality of what they already have, the state itself. And Hegel says that the universal class should not be understood as the unhappy consciousness suffering from the sense of the estrangement from its own product. They are, on the contradictory, its self-satisfied consciousness, which understands and accepts the world as the world. So he accepts that world as a world due to two concepts. One is the universal interest, another one is the general and the particular interest. Here the universal interest in 2 point, one is the positive universality and second one negative universality. You have to think about from that the positive universality, so you don't misunderstand that unhappy consciousness. Okay, it's about the happy consciousness, and it acts as a world as world. Okay, and what are the regulatory mechanisms followed in this Hegel concept? Hegel believes that the universal insights are and will not the property of the bureaucrats as individuals, but the bureaucracy, which is a system of relations defined by the hierarchy and the specialization plus a certain position in the large assembly. It means that the bureaucracy is like having the hierarchy, and second they are following certain specialization, and third it's creating a certain position to them. And the self-seeking orientation and instability of the middle class from which the bureaucrats are recruited. Self-seeking orientation and middle class, instability of the middle class, they are taking from recruited the bureaucrats and do not stand in the way of the bureaucracy, because on their recruitment they become a part of the bureaucratic system. Recruitment is a part of the bureaucratic system, and they also submit themselves to a series of internal and external pressures which educate them to the will and the knowledge of the universal interest. So the internal control refers to the bureaucratic ethos, which is the result of the bureaucratic habits plus the motivation. Okay, that accompany the fulfillment of the bureaucratic duties. The external mechanisms of control include control from above the prince as well as the below in the form of the grievances. So first one is above the princes, and second below in the form of the grievances and petitions by the corporations, free press and public opinion. So the Hegel has given us an outline of the regulatory mechanism which has a good effect on the bureaucrats. So the Hegel was looking for a sphere which transcends private interest. Avineri says that the Hegel's attempt is similar to the Platonic endeavor. So the Hegel's concept is similar to the Platonic endeavor, but while Plato tried to neutralize the guardians totally in the civil society, neutralizing the guardians totally from the civil society by depriving them of family, private property, and Hegel's solution is less radical. So it is necessary to mention that the Hegel's attempt to provide for checks and balances indicate is awareness of that bureaucracy, and may view itself as owing the state and the encroach upon the rights of the people. So he the regards of bureaucracy as the embodiment of the ideas. Bureaucracy is embodiment of ideas, and by virtue of this autonomy and independence will act as a brake on the civil society itself, and ensure that the public policy does not become a reflection of the society. Evidently, Hegel does not regard bureaucracy as a social category with the distinctive characters. And the head is says that the Hegel refers to the officials and the functionaries as those who acted on the behalf of the enlightened ruler, or later the behalf of the constitutional monarchy and state of reason. So it seems also clear that the Hegel explains the bureaucracies from that may be called the Weberian perspective, because he, like Weber, associates such qualities as dispassionateness, uprightness, and politeness with bureaucracy. So I think I will discuss this kind. Okay. Next, we move on to the Hegel's impact on the Marx. How the Hegel's concept is impacted on Marx. The Hegelian concept of the bureaucracy representing the general interest of the community has not been accepted by the Marx. And although he argues that with Hegel that the rational state should represent the general interest of the community, rational state only, so it's not in a practical, but he feels that the existing state does not represent the general interest of the Marx. The prominence of the bureaucracy may be attributed to it. It is significant to note that the Hegel's notion of the universal class influenced many early writings of Marx, in which he uses a term proletariat. Proletariat and possessing certain kind of qualities for proletariat of the universal classes. So early formulation, how the early formulation is occur when Marx was making a critical appraisal of Hegel's theory of bureaucracy in 1843. The term itself did not figure prominently in serious political writings. It is Marx who must be credited with attempting an analysis of bureaucracy in substantive terms in sense of social category. So the bureaucracy in the sense of a ruling formation of some kind first appeared in German book like C.J. Kranz, and by the term the bureaucratic he meant stratum which ruled Prussia, and it had earlier been put to use in the German periodical with regard to the French revolutionary development after 1879. So the Prochens Encyclopedia in 1819 recognized it that the German published like J.J. Cross popularized in terms of the 1820s, and young Marx was reported to have been acquainted with these writings. So he taken the Prochen's encyclopedia as like a source for him, and Marx came out with this first explicit attack on the bureaucracy in 1843. So he complained of that the presumptions of officiousness of government officials and the contradiction between the real nature of the world and the ascribed of the Brucius. Marx was interested in explaining how the bureaucracy emerged and drew in sustenance from the society, and how it reflected the production relations at a time when it worked. And it was not the structure of bureaucracy but its content that merited his attention. For Marx, bureaucracy is a particular closed society within the state. There are the three basic elements in Marx's perceptions of state. First, perception of state from the Marx concept. One is the state is the organ of the class domination. There is a class domination, and it aims is to create the order and legalizes all the perpetuates the oppressions of one class by moderating the conflict. So one class is oppressed to moderate the conflicts, and it's going to create order or legalize. And third is state is temporary phenomena. It will wither away with the abolition of the classes. So it's a temporary phenomena, so they can abolish the classes in the society. The bureaucracy refers to all the elements in the hierarchical system as outlined by the Hegel, including the collegiative advisory boards. In Marx's usage in embraces both the systems of administration and the person who are charged with the implementation of that system. In my next video, I will discuss certain kind of role of bureaucracy and characteristics of the bureaucracy and how it is to be followed in the modern society. We will discuss and how the growth bureaucracy growth occurred in the society. Thank you.